Hey guys, let's go hit a leg workout today, among other things. I literally look like a penis.
Out there, let me show you how it's done.
Imagine being as confident as Johnny that the devil will come up to you and be like, let's battle. And you'd be like, yeah. If anyone, mind you, the devil, came up to me in battle for like something I was good at, if it was a dance-off against someone I knew was worse than me, I would still shit my pants. Like, that's the confidence I'm lacking sometimes. And I'm really trying to grow right now because that's the devil. You're gonna fight the devil. Okay, voiceover time. To start off any workout, we must warm up. So we're going to do some dynamic stretching right now, starting off walking our hands out into a downward dog. I like to move through my feet a little bit here, do whatever feels good. Yeah. You could do a few dolphin push-ups if you'd like to. That's when you bend your arms when you're in a downward dog. And we're rolling it down onto our knees. Rolling out our head a few times to the right. Apparently I did it 3 times. Then we're going to take it the opposite direction. And taking the right leg in front of us, tuck our tailbone in, engage the core, and then push forward into that front thigh. That's going to get you a stretch in the psoas muscle as well as the hip flexor. Then I take it down to a lunge on my knees and trying to keep it dynamic here. We're alternating between a lunge and then a half splits, stretching back onto that left knee and stretching that leg in front of us straight. You could see I adjusted so that this time it's hitting our half splits a little more easier there. Big twist to the opposite direction, taking it into this inward kind of yoga stretch, then a side lunge, and flip the leg in, get a twist. Work on getting up on your heel from the ground to a lunge and then hitting the other side here. Twist by lifting the opposite arm as leg up, then taking it down to our knee into a half splits, back into that front low lunge, back into the half splits, low lunge, half splits, leg fully straightened, and then kind of a variation of the low lunge. And just kind of doing what we did on the opposite side. Big twist. Up to a side lunge, heel on the ground. Shake it out. You could press your shoulders inward. And lastly, I like to finish up with some balances on my legs. So taking it, I believe this is a Warrior 3 in yoga. And then opening up my hip to the side to really focus on my balance here. And getting a stretch in those legs. Then I like to roll out my hip. Try my best not to hold on to anything. Roll it the opposite direction. And down into a pistol squat. Oh, you might not make it. Just get up and try again. Okay. Pistol squat. Yayo. And then shrimp squat. Yeah. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. There we go. Always celebrate yourself. Take it to the other side. So keeping your hips parallel with the ground as in keeping them turned in a parallel position. Then opening up that right hip on the ground, trying to keep your balance. Closing it again, try not to fall over. Knee back up, roll it out. Rolling the hip the opposite direction. And then trying out a pistol squat. Yeah. Shrimp squat. Yeah. Alright, so first exercise we're going to start with our hip thrust at the hip thrust machine. You want to line the pad under your shoulder blades. And then push that pad up with your hips. And the machine should just release the weight on top of you. You push the pad up with your hips, squeezing your butt at the top. You'll notice my chin is slightly tucked. We're keeping all the energy, the working energy, in our hips and our glutes. Adding some more weight if it was easy to do 12 reps. Hey girl, hey. Showing you a different angle here to see how the machine releases the weight. We're going to do 4 sets, 12 reps of these hip thrusts. Adding heavy weight for our final few sets. Showing you a last angle here. Just kidding. Okay, our next exercise is going to be a hinge movement. We're grabbing kettlebells and we're doing RDLs. So thinking about pushing those hips towards the back wall. Slight bend in the knees. This is going to warm us up for what we're really doing next, which are B stance RDLs. So propping the toes slightly behind us, our weight still mainly on that front leg and pressing those hips towards the back wall, feeling the burn in the hamstrings. Here's a front view of RDLs. My hips are parallel. And then the other side here. Unilateral movements are so important. And now we're going to add some cardio into the RDLs. Let's get it. So taking that B stance and walking it across the room. Nice and slow, making sure your position is right. You might see in this video, I kind of take it a little too wide at certain points. But yeah, as long as you're really feeling it in the hamstring, squeezing the glute at the top of the motion, kind of when we're standing up again, you'll be good to go. And you might find that you're not good to go, that you felt it more in your hamstrings when you were doing just regular RDLs. So take it back to them. Take it back to some foundational movements if it feels better for you during your session. In total, I completed 3 sets of RDL movements, about 12 reps with each set. And I did enjoy the cardio aspect of the across the room B stance RDLs. So I decided to do some sleigh pulls next. Basically just throwing some weight on the sleigh and pulling it across the room, back and forth a few times. Excuse me, sled pulls, but sleigh, as you do that, we superset that with suitcase carries. That's picking up a heavy weight and carrying it across the room for your abs. And after completing 3 rounds of both of those 2 exercises, I moved on to some hamstring curls. I have been loving these lately, at least with the machine where the pad goes over your thighs. Other machines have made me very scared in the past. It feels like they're breaking my legs when the padding is just above the shins. But these have been really helpful as I run with knee pain. So I've been including it in every leg day. I complete 3 rounds, 12 reps. Lastly, finding a pulley machine and preferably using a strap where you could dip your toe and your heel in. But otherwise, any sort of strap that you could attach to your ankle will do here. We're going to start out with some kickbacks that start from a bent leg down low into a straight leg fully extended behind you, in line with your hips or a little further, just getting a nice glute squeeze at the very top there. Going for 12, taking it nice and slow. Next, we're gonna go into some single leg hamstring curls. I like to do these, especially when I don't have access to the type of hamstring machine I like that I just said, with the padding on top of the thigh. We are bending our knee back into a 90-degree angle, but you can see that my knees are in line there. And yeah, this feels really good on the hamstrings, but also stretching the muscle right above our knees as well. These I also like to do slowly, and I'm just doing 10 reps. And for the very last exercise, we're keeping the working leg straight this time and just stretching the leg behind us. You're gonna feel this working the hip flexors more. You could see myself touching around my hips to try to feel the mind muscle connection there. 10 reps here. And then do all 3 of these exercises on the other side, 12, 10, 10, and 3 times. Yo, and to finish up this hamstring focused leg day, we are stretching it out. So just moving side to side after bending forward here, doing a few head shakes, nodding no and yes, and then bending down low into a little yogi squat. Stretching it back up, opening up to one side, maybe doing a full twist here, putting that arm behind us. Other side, opening up, twisting the arm behind us. And then heel toeing the foot out into a wider stance. Figure 8s here. As you bend to one leg, let those arms sweep and follow along on the floor, making figure 8 shapes. Halfway lift. And bending over to our right foot. Bending into that left leg. Taking it to the other side. Grabbing onto our left ankle, bending into the right foot. And then straighten out both legs, pushing our front hip back, pulling the back hip forward. This is pyramid pose in yoga. Taking a few breaths here. If you want, you could bend through your front and back legs. And then taking it down to a low lunge. Back knee on the ground, heel toeing the front foot a little more outwards so we're in a frog pose. Opening up the hip. Then if you're feeling up for it, bending that back knee and reaching for that back foot with the opposite arm to stretch out the thigh. Shifting our weight up. We're straightening out that leg that was previously bent and stretching over it. Thinking about pushing that straight leg's hip back, pulling the opposite hip forward. Then bending it down to a pigeon pose. Coming up, split time. Middle splits, can we do it? Oh my gosh. No, one day, life goal. I don't know if my body's capable of it, but a girl could dream. And taking a side stretch to one side, bending further down. Opposite side. Stretch even further down. Back up. Stretching forward. Making sure our toes are still pointed up in the air. Our knees are still pointed up in the air. And then shaking the legs together. Reaching up and over grabbing for our feet or our ankles, wherever we can. And then we're going to take it to the opposite side, starting with that triangle pose. Thinking about pulling the back hip forward, pushing the front hip back, rocking through the legs, then taking it down to a lunge, knee on the ground, opening up that front hip a little more by taking the foot out a little more to the side. And then if you did it on the first side, reaching for the back foot for a thigh stretch, quad stretch. Then straighten out that front leg for half splits, keeping your hips square. And then taking it down to pigeon pose. Taking a few deep breaths here. Other side splits. Let's go. And bringing the legs back together, straightening them out. We are crossing one foot over the other knee and then twisting to the side. Other leg, side twist. You could push into that knee with your elbow. And finishing up in a little butterfly. Thank yourself for your workout today, and thank you for watching.